Kol Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahshai Bashem Hakadosh, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, as well as honor to the men under the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect and those who hope to be of that number. The Financial Times put up this article a day ago. UK suffers biggest drop in economic output in 300 years. Gloomy outlook for early 2021 after pandemic savages economy. For hopes raised for spring recovery. They're always hoping in a dying economy. The UK economy recorded its worst economic performance. When was this article put up? Sorry, I'm just looking up when it was put up. Yeah, I wrote UK tax rises and this article showed up. Yeah, it was put up a day ago. I'll leave the link to this article in the description box. The UK economy recorded its worst economic performance for more than 300 years in 2020 as it reeled from the initial shock of the Crown crisis before staging a better than expected recovery later in the year. Official figures on Friday show that the UK produced 9.9% fewer goods and services last year than in 2019, a contraction worse than the 1921 slump after the First World War and Spanish flu, and almost as bad as the contraction in Great Frost in 1709, when the UK was an agricultural economy. But as companies and households learnt to live with Crown lockdowns, economic performance improved during the year, and Britain's economy grew 1% in the final quarter, the Office for National Statistics said. The improved data in the fourth quarter encouraged Rishi Sunak, who said it showed positive signs of the economy's resilience over the winter, adding in a BBC interview that there was a case for cautious optimism from the rollout of the Crown Maxes, but in a warning that the March 3rd budget would not be just another giveaway. Sunak stressed that he needed to be open and honest with the public about the need for sustainable public finances in the future, hinting this would mean tax rises in due course. Yeah, wrote UK tax rises on a Google search engine and this article came up. So he's hinting at the fact that there's going to be tax rises. Yeah. In other words, water is wet. The sky is blue. Sure. It was inevitable. Expect to get taxed more. Expect to take a pay cut because more of that pay is going towards taxes. And here's a graph for it. UK from the Bank of England. UK economy suffers biggest contraction in 3 centuries. You see, this should be the year 2019 to 2020. You see that huge slump from like a little over 0%. That looks like, I don't know, 2% or 1%. Maybe 2%. I don't know exactly what this is. I was hoping the figure shows up to what should be minus 9% or something close to that, maybe even minus 10. But there was like a slump of 9%, so it went down by 9% from 2019 to 2020. The UK's economic, I just have to double check. Saki produced 9.9%, so it's basically 10%. It went down 10%. Went down 10% in 2020. The UK's economic performance in the Crown crisis still looks weak by international standards, with output in the final quarter of last year 7.8% below the pre-pandemic peak, twice the decline seen in Germany and 3 times that in the US. The UK's poor economic performance was the result of worse outbreaks of Crown than in most other countries, with resulting in longer lockdowns and in households saving more of their income. On top of this, UK statisticians adopted different methods for measuring public sector output other than our countries, which resulted in a larger recorded drop in output. The Office for National Statistics, however, said most of the UK's poor performance relative to other countries was genuine rather than a statistical aberration. Rob Kent-Smith, head of GDP at the ONS, said even excluding public services, the decline up to the third quarter of 2020 was still one of the largest in the G7. UK business investment lags behind in the UK. You can see the source. The UK's weakness in 2020 stemmed from more than a more than 20% slump during the first lockdown. The latest lockdown is likely to cause another dip at the start of this year, but economists think it will be more muted and followed by a period of rapid recovery. Samuel Toombs, chief UK economist at Pantheon Macroeconomics, said, "We look for a hefty 6% quarter-on-quarter rebound in GDP in the second quarter, followed by a 2.2% increase in the third. That could mean a faster recovery than in other European countries where the max rollout has been much slower," he added. During the pandemic, most households' incomes have held up in what has been the worst recession in more than a century because the government has borrowed more than 400 billion to protect jobs and livelihoods. These schemes are set to be extended in Sunak's budget, although economists still expect unemployment to rise from below 4% before. It's just from below 4%, really? I think that's a lie. Before the pandemic to 6.8% by the end of this year. Sorry about that. Of course, unemployment is going to go up, and of course, taxes are going to go up. The ONS also reported a widening goods trade deficit in the last 3 months of 2020, driven by by rising EU imports. More taxes on goods. You got to pay to deal with the EU now. You don't have a free trade deal with the EU, as businesses prepared for the end of the transition period. In December, the economy expanded 1.2% compared with the previous month, although November's figure was revised 0.3 percentage points. The economy shrank 2.3% that month as England entered lockdown. Loosening restrictions in many parts of the UK saw elements of the economy recover some lost ground in December, with hospitality, car sales and hairdressers all seeing growth. I know the hairdressers because a load of people want to get their hair cut. Okay, said Jonathan Athol, Deputy National Statistician for Economic Statistics. UK GDP remains well below pre-crisis level. Services rebounded strongest, rising 1% in December compared with November. The manufacturing sector grew for the 8th consecutive month, but output in the construction sector fell for the first time since the spring. Jonathan Gilham, PwC chief economist, said the figures were not as bad as had been expected and showed that from an economic perspective, we are becoming more adaptable to being locked down. Alright. Well, how long can this keep going on? Can the government keep extending its thingy? Can it keep borrowing from the Bank of England to pay for the furlough scheme? What have you? No. And I just want to get the world debt clock here. Look at America's debt, clearly the highest. Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a Torah proverb against him, and say, woe, destruction to him that increases that which is not his? That's what America does. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. In America, that's what he does. Thick clay, I badyat. Thick clay, it's talking about heavy debt. The Ibadyad is thick clay. Someone who pledged collectively pawn goes thick clay by false etymology. Weight of pledges, heavy debt. Esau in America, Babylon the Great is on huge debt. Not only is it huge debt, it's the hugest debt in the world. And the shadow figures will show you that it's really a few hundred trillion. It should be like 200 trillion more. But this is what they're just officially going to show you. 27.9 trillion. You can call it 28. UK, 5th. $3.5 trillion, or should I say $3.6 trillion. His public debt to GDP went up. Yeah, it's not looking too good. But yeah, so they're already hinting at thingy. Look at these comments. But yeah, I think you get the point. The taxes are gonna rise, and the economy is practically tanking. And there's public spending, and there's public, there's government borrowing, especially for government borrowing the Bank of England to pay for its furlough scheme. It's not gonna keep going on. There's gonna be an end to that furlough scheme, and yeah, the economy, the unemployment, and all of that is going to hit, and austerity is going to increase. So yeah, hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.